music of the Beatles is hard to come by in a digital format, let alone one amenable to plastic instruments. This is why it's still a little hard to believe that the band has jumped over several other forms of distribution to help create its own video game. But here we are, and the result is a music game like no other. Does the Beatles rock band live up to the group's impeccable legacy, or does it need a lot more than just love?
I don't care too much for money, money can buy me love. One thing I can tell you is you got to be free.
The Beatles rock band is part music game, part interactive documentary. The music game part is a reasonable facsimile of past rock band games, with many of the same modes and features you've become accustomed to. But the game truly excels when it redrafts that formula to suit the most revered rock band in history. The presence of a story mode might catch you off guard. It's essentially a stand-in for career mode, but it's hard to dismiss it as such. Story mode takes you on a whirlwind tour of the Beatles' 10-year career to enable the sort of evocative experience that only a combination of 3D artistry and plastic instruments can deliver. Take the term story loosely. Everything is told through cool cinematics and the trippy, surreal dreamscapes that animate the band's later studio work. You start out at the Cavern Club in Liverpool in 1963 and wind up at the group's final live performance, the Apple Corps rooftop concert in London, 1969.
Jojo was a man who thought he was a loner.
Along the way, you'll play the Ed Sullivan Show, Shea Stadium, the Budokan, and spend quite a bit of time out of mind at the Beatles' Abbey Road studio. In terms of what happened where and who played which instrument when, the game colors outside the lines a bit. The result is a rose-tinted rendition of the Beatles' legacy that spans 45 songs. The catalog is both thoughtfully comprehensive and woefully deficient. In other words, if you're a Beatles fan, you're likely to be delighted by some inclusions and dismayed by some omissions. For what it's worth, Harmonix intends to meet bummed fans halfway with a slew of downloadable content, starting with All You Need Is Love, as a timed 360 exclusive on the game's release date. Like songs on the disc, which you can't import into your regular rock band song catalog, the DLC will only be playable through the Beatles game. Harmonix will custom tailor the visuals that accompany the downloadable songs, including crafting new psychedelic dreamscapes where appropriate. In most other regards, the Beatles fits neatly into the rock band mold. The quick play feature lets you select any track and play it solo or with friends online or off, and likewise for starting story mode sessions. You can also play competitively in both Tug of War and Score duel modes, either locally or online. The entire catalog is available from the outset, and you can activate no-fail mode with a single button press before starting a song. All the requisite training modes are also accounted for, including one that focuses on the multi-part vocal harmonies that the game introduces.
Lucy in the sky with diamonds.
Beatles fans will certainly get a kick out of the extras you unlock while playing. Doing well in the story mode rewards you with the captioned photos from the Apple Corps archive, as well as some rare videos. You'll also be treated to previously unreleased studio chatter from the Beatles' recording sessions in between songs.
What's he doing an offbeat with that?
In all, there's a trove of stuff in this thoughtfully put-together package for fans of the Fab Four.
Oh no, you say goodbye, and I say hello. Hello, hello. It was 20 years ago today. Sergeant Pepper taught the band to play.
Though it's still ultimately about hitting fret buttons and drum pads in time with the colored notes scrolling down the screen, the Beatles puts a significant wrinkle on the grammar of music games, with its multi-part vocal harmonies. You can connect up to 3 microphones using a single controller, allowing up to 6 band members to play. The result is wonderful, not considering the obvious opportunities for humiliation that can come out when 3 impaired Beatles fans try to belt out songs in unison.
We all live in the yellow submarine, a yellow submarine.
The band owes some of its most powerful moments to vocal harmonies. The feature is crucial to an earnest recreation of the Beatles' music, and there are tons of songs in the catalog with 2 or 3 vocal parts. It's also a very meaningful addition to music games as a whole, and we wouldn't be surprised to see it replicated. In terms of difficulty, the Beatles' music is more about grooving than getting your fingers in a knot, though expect some particular moments to test your chops, like the drum solo in Helter Skelter. You'll also find that Harmonix has played around with the tablature a bit. For instance, if you play the guitar part in I Am the Walrus, the sounds you strum are actually those of the string arrangements.
I'm like a fish wife on a
Same with Tomorrow Never Knows and the drums. The hectic rhythm is actually a result of an assortment of percussion instruments. Some special instrument peripherals are also being released alongside the game. The special edition bundle includes a drum set that looks like the one Ringo played, and a guitar peripheral modeled after Paul McCartney's Hofner bass. The special edition will also include a mic and, crucially for multi-talented players, a mic stand. Plastic versions of John Lennon's Rickenbacker 325 and George Harrison's Duo Jet guitars are also being sold separately. There isn't any new functionality in them. Stunning intro video to the stirring dreamscapes that range from hazy to borderline ominous, the Beatles Rock Band will take you on a trip you won't soon forget. True, it's hard to take in the visuals when you're actually playing the game, but one half of the Rock Band experience is often waiting for your turn. In any event, the visual presentation is top-notch, from top to bottom, built around an aesthetic that's resoundingly true to the band. If this technology were around when the Beatles were recording, they probably would have made something that looks like this. The music is the result of some crazy reverse engineering of the original master recordings, and it all sounds great. Whether it's due to a more intense level of attention to your individual part or something else entirely, you'll gain a renewed respect for the musical prowess of each individual Beatle.
What do I do when my love is away? Does it worry you to be alone? Ain't got nothing but love, babe. 8 days a week.
With less than half the songs you'd normally get in a Rock Band release, the Beatles could use a lot more music. But if you're fans of the band, buying this game is a no-brainer. If your favorite song isn't among the 45 included on the disc, there's a good chance it's among the list of DLC set to drop in the near future. And if you've yet to develop an appreciation of the Fab Four, then this is a great opportunity to experience what is perhaps the most enduring catalog in the history of popular music. The Beatles Rock Band more than delivers on the iconic band's legacy.